Okay, who here hasn't been to space?
Why?
You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2,
Next topic is going to be Fantastic Four, the F4, the Fantastic Four. Now, I'm so fucking sick of talking about the Fantastic Four. I really am. And some people are probably like, well, you pick the topic. If you're fucking sick of talking about it, don't pick the topic. But we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. And the reason we have to talk about it is because there's always something new every week, it seems like, with the Fantastic Four. It seems like every week we've either got some type of new person rumored to be Reed Richards, or new leaks and rumors about how the plot's going to go, or craziness that just gets me all confused because I'm constantly crossing wires with all these different leaks and all these different plot points and all this. And I'm just like, oh my, I don't fucking know anymore. I don't even know how this is going to go. But we're going to get into what's going on with the Fantastic Four. Now, this is coming from the direct. Before we jump into what the direct is having to say about it, this is what we already know about them. Well, shit, do we know anything? Do we really know anything? My Time to Shine Hello put out a couple, last week or so, I think, that Dr. Doom, obviously, or I'm sorry, Silver Surfer was not going to be the antagonist in the film any longer, but Galactus was going to be the antagonist of the film, and that Silver Surfer was just going to be moved to his special that was rumored quite some time ago for the special. We've also recently heard that Dr. Doom was not going to be in the film at all whatsoever, not even in a post-credit scene, but it now seems that Dr. Doom is going to be showing up in a post-credit scene. We've also heard that at no point in time, this is coming from the Marvel Studios mods now, the subreddit, saying at no point in time was Adam Driver ever the front runner for Reed Richards. If you take it back a couple weeks ago, he was the front runner to be Reed Richards. They are also saying that it's now the front runner is Dave Patel, and he is the one that they want to be Reed Richards. We've also heard that, Penn Badgley was rumored at one time. I forget my brother's name from, my guy's name from Lucifer. He was rumored at one time. William Jackson Harper was rumored at one time to be Reed. I even thought with all the names that they were putting out on the table to potentially portray Reed Richards that they were possibly building a council of Reeds. We've recently heard spoilers. If you want to jump out before I give this spoiler about Quantumania, now's your time. 5, 4, 3, 2, we've even heard that a Council of Kangs is supposed to be showing up in one of the post-credit scenes. So, a Council of Reeds, a Council of Kangs, it kind of makes sense, but I don't really fucking know what they're doing with the Fantastic Four. So, there are now more rumors out there. And you guys also know we even went over, and I'll quickly, before we jump into that, we even went over this. This is coming from the Marvel Studio subreddit, where they said that John Krasinski is not Reed. Ryan Gosling is in talks to playing Silver Surfer, but not for this movie, which, again, I thought Ryan Gosling was going to be Sentry. Was that not rumored? Was that not the thing that Ryan Gosling was supposed to be Sentry? So, Ryan Gosling was rumored to be Sentry. He's rumored to be Silver Surfer. He's rumored to be Nova. At one point before Yaya, he was rumored to be Wonder Man. He was rumored to be Dr. Doom. He's been rumored to be quite a few different individuals in the MCU. And that's not uncommon because normally when a big actor like that joins or wants to join the MCU, Marvel will sit down and give them a list of different characters that they are wanting them to portray. So this is not new. It's not new to hear an actor be attached to so many different characters like that. But they go on to say Ryan Gosling is in talks to play Silver Surfer, but not for this movie. Silver Surfer was a part of the earlier Fantastic Four draft, but has since been cut out. Gosling, if he signs, will debut on a special presentation. So I guess Gosling is not Sentry. Again, we'll have to wait to see what comes of that. And it goes on to say Galactus is the main villain of the movie and will be played by either Dennis Quaid or Keanu Reeves. I could not see, I said this last week when we talked about this, or earlier this week when we talked about this, I couldn't see Keanu Reeves as the voice of Galactus, or even, I could maybe see him if they did the whole Thanos deal like they did with Josh Brolin, to where they do the mocap, and maybe I could see his mannerisms as Galactus, maybe, but I could see Dennis Quaid's voice voicing Galactus over Keanu Reeves. And they go on to say, don't know who of the two won in the end, but those were the front runners. Thank you so much for that, Double Tar, for that very generous $9 super chat. It means so much to me. Thank you for that, my brother. I appreciate it so very, 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 very much. Let's see. And then they also go on to say that Adam Driver is not in the running for Reed, but actually Doom. And this is what we all wanted. Remember when we all talked about Adam Driver coming on as Reed Richards? We were like, bro, no. I don't know what they're trying to do with Reed. I was trying to, ease everybody's minds. I was like, I don't know, guys, could we maybe see him as Reed? Even though he was never, ever, 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 ever in any universe my first choice to being Reed Richards. But I was thinking if he's the front runner, like he was at one time, if he's the front runner, then maybe he's actually going to be Reed, and maybe we can start trying to I don't know. But we all said he would be a much better Doom. A much better Victor Von Doom than he would be a Reed Richards. They go on to say Feige wants the Fantastic Four to be people of color, and Reed is likely going this route. Obviously, we know that if Dave Patel is truly indeed the guy they want to be Reed, I'm okay with that. I don't like the race swapping. Trust me, I really don't. I would prefer for the Fantastic Four to remain what they always have been, and that's white. But then I saw this of Dave Patel, and I was like, wait a minute. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm looking at him as Reed here, and I like what I see. I really do. Again, as you guys know, my big choice was always Penn Badgley. I always wanted Penn Badgley to come in. I wanted that rumor to be so true, because to me, Penn looks like Reed, and I think Penn would have done a good job as Reed. But I like this with Dave Patel. Your mileage may vary on it, but I like this with Dave Patel. I think that he would make a good Reed Richards. Again, I'm not for the whole race swapping a thing like that at all, but I think that and let's put this out there for anybody that's feeling some type of way about the Fantastic Four being race swapped. This isn't new news either. I want to say I heard about Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios wanting people of color in these roles way back early 2021, maybe middle 2021 is when we first started talking about this, when they first kind of started talking about the Fantastic Four. So this is not like new news. It's just, I really like this picture. I think he looks good as Reed Richards. But then they go on to say that the Fantastic Four members are going to be in their 30s, minus Johnny, who will be played by an actor in his 20s. And then, we went over some of these names that they included. Some of these names are Kyle Allen, Jeremy Allen White, Carey Mulligan. You guys know, I think it's Reggie Jean Page, the dude, the light-skinned guy that plays in Bridgerton. He played in the first season of Bridgerton. I did not watch anything after that because you took out the most interesting part of the show. So he's even rumored to be playing Reed. Elizabeth Debicki, it was rumored obviously for Sue. Logan Lerman and Diego Luna, which we also heard. I should have mentioned him when I was mentioning Penn and everybody. Diego Luna was also one of the names mentioned in the running for Reed. Dave Patel, as you see, his name's not here, but that does not mean that this is correct. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just leaks and rumors. Take it all with a grain of salt. Then it goes on to say Simon Baker plays the Molecule Man. Now, we talked about this a little bit. The Molecule Man seems like he's actually going to play a role in everything going on with Secret Wars, Battle World. We even talked about them doing the whole Battle World movie universe in between Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Those are going to be movies in between those films. Again, take it with a grain of salt. That's just what we're hearing at the moment. But the Molecule Man is actually going to play a role. And then it goes on to say who will be introduced in the movie to have a bigger role in Secret Wars. So Molecule Man is going to be supposedly introduced in Fantastic Four, which, if you guys remember, when we talked about Secret Wars, that was one of my big sticks. I was like, well, where's the Molecule Man? Like, we're doing so much with Secret Wars with so many characters that are not in the MCU. The Molecule Man playing such a huge role in the events that happen, that take place leading up to Secret Wars. I was like, how are you doing that without the Molecule Man? But I like the fact that the Molecule Man is still on the table and going to be introduced in this film if this is true. And the last thing it says, there's no idea when they plan to announce the casting, as they're still figuring stuff out, and new drafts in a new draft was delivered just 2 weeks ago. Now, with that new draft being just delivered 2 weeks ago, Matt Shakman, who we all know wrote or was director of WandaVision and things like that, so he's already in-house with Marvel. He already knows how Marvel operates. He has kind of broken his silence on the and been optimistic with the reboot and kind of given a potential date on when they're going to start filming. It goes on to say, Fantastic Four director Matt Shakman teased an optimistic story set for the Marvel Studios reboot. Ever since the Fantastic Four logo was first unveiled back in December 2020, fans have been eagerly anticipating the arrival of Marvel's first family in the MCU. While details on the project remain scarce, a few tidbits have trickled over the past year or so. A few. A lot. And then it says, last fall, it was finally confirmed that WandaVision director Matt Shakman would be taking on the directing duties for Fantastic Four as well. Aside from Shakman's involvement in a few casting rumors here and there, things on the Fantastic Four front have been fairly silent. Really? However, the director behind the blockbuster is finally ready to speak about the title publicly. Speaking with The Wrap, Fantastic Four director Matt Shakman broke his silence on the upcoming MCU reboot, speaking about the project publicly for the first time. While breaking down his journey over the past few years in Hollywood, Shakman compared Fantastic Four to his past work on the Star Trek franchise. He revealed that they both were launched in the 60s and are both about optimism and looking to the stars and technology. It's really a family. It's really a family there, and to be able to go back and tackle something that I truly love, and they're very similar in some ways. They both were launched in the 60s, and at that same time, they're both about optimism and looking to the stars and how technology can solve everything, and they're about family too. The family you have, the family you make. So they're aligned in many ways and speak to the heart equally. So I'm excited to be working on the Fantastic Four. The filmmaker remarked that he had a great time working on Star Trek, and it would have been an unbelievable pleasure to work on a potential fourth film with J.J. Abrams to reboot the franchise. I don't really care what he's saying about Star Trek. Sorry, I'm not a Trekkie. I don't know if you are. I'm not a Trekkie. Then it says, Shakman, who also worked on WandaVision with Marvel, noted that moving away from Star Trek and getting the chance to do Fantastic Four was like coming back home. But movies have different journeys and momentums, and the schedules are a little bit off. And so when the Fantastic Four opportunity came up, it was just too hard to pass up and to go back home to Marvel, a place that I worked on WandaVision at with those people who are wonderful collaborators. Then it says what to expect in Shakman's Fantastic Four. Even though the Fantastic Four are no strangers to getting the blockbuster treatment, it should be revealing for fans to hear, or relieving for fans to hear this from Shakman. It says, into the optimism of the team's early comic stories. The three previous Fantastic Four films from 2005, 2007, and the terrible 2015 film have featured elements of the optimistic storytelling, but all of them only dipped their toe into the surface of that. The trio leaned into their edgy or darker tones that were produced of the time in which they debuted. In the same way that the early Star Trek or Superman stories featured this look to the stars sense of wonder, it seems that Shakman's Fantastic Four vision will focus on that much more than ever before. The optimistic tone makes sense for the MCU that the film will join. This is a franchise that has made its name on bringing these colorful comic characters to life, usually being a little lighter in tone than some of its competitors, i.e. the Snyderverse. And it says, in casting will be the first indication of what that looks like. When fans finally know what this team is going to look like on screen, it will become abundantly clear what Shakman means when he makes a comparison like this one, like the one he did above. Fantastic Four is set to debut in theaters on February 14th, 2025. So again, there's not a lot that we know about the Fantastic Four other than the constant rumors that constantly circulate week in and week out from credible scoopers like My Time to Shine. Hello, can we get some toast? The Watcher, Ember, or Divinity Seeker, if you want to throw the Divinity Seeker in there, or even Casey Walsh. You've got Daniel RPK, or any of those guys, Charles Murphy. We're getting a lot of different news and leaks from guys like that are credible scoopers that are giving us nothing but different leaks and rumors in regards to the film. We still don't know who's playing Reed. We have no idea who's playing Sue, Johnny, or Ben. We don't know if Silver Surfer is going to be in the film, if Galactus is truly going to be the main villain of the film, or if Doctor Doom is even going to show up in a post-credit scene, or are they just simply saving Doctor Doom? We do not know what is going on with the Fantastic Four. The only thing that we seemingly do know that has been on the table since day one is that the film is going to take place in the 60s. And with the film taking place in the 60s, with the newest rumor that we've got is that the film takes place in the 60s, but it starts in present day. It starts in present day with Reed Richards tinkering with the time traveling equipment that Tony Stark created in Endgame and things like that. With him tinkering with all of that, them tinkering with that sends them back in time, sends them back to the 60s. And they are in the 60s for a year's time, if I remember that correctly. They're going to be in the 60s for a year. And while they're there, they're trying to figure out how to get back. Blah, 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 etc., etc. So those are some of the things that we do know with the newest leak. Again, now take that with a grain of salt, because that leak could change next week. That leak that changes next week could change the very next week. So again, take everything with a massive grain of salt. These are the things that we do know so far. This is what Matt Shakman has come out and said. He seems to be optimistic. He seems to have somewhat of an idea of what they're wanting to do, shooting for the stars with the Fantastic Four. But as always, question is for you. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking. Are you fucking sick of talking about the Fantastic Four? Do you just want to know already what is this going to be? What are we looking at? Now, granted, we are still 2 years away. This doesn't come out until 2025. They start their filming in production in 2024. So we know that this film does not come out until February of 2025. Things like that. So yeah, you let me know what you guys are thinking. Like, are you sick of talking about the Fantastic Four? Do you just want to know who's playing who? What's the story going to be about? When are we going to know more about the Fantastic Four, etc., etc.? And what are you guys thinking about the newest plot leak about, Reed tinkering with the Stark tech, the time travel Stark tech there, and then that sending the first family back to the 60s and then being displaced in the 60s for a year? How does that connect to Kang? If connecting to Kang at all. If you remember, one of the rumors that we heard was that the Fantastic Four were supposed to show up in a post-credit scene in Quantum Mania, and that Hank Pym was going to recognize them, obviously with him being from the 60s, etc., etc. But doesn't look like that's on the table anymore. So let me know what you guys are thinking about all of the newest shit that is coming out revolving the Fantastic Four.